Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning we're going to look at what is the market value of your car. So let's jump right into it. So now that you've gone through the process of looking at the book value of your vehicle, pulling together the records that you have, looking at whether it's been in any accidents or not, and being able to go through that process in a more thorough approach to understanding what your vehicle is worth. Today, we're going to look at the actual market value. So the difference between the book value and the market value is the book value, again, is looking at what you originally purchased that vehicle for, minus the depreciation that has set in since you purchased it based on driving off the value in mileage, in condition, the wear and tear on the vehicle and the age and so on and so forth. Whereas the market value is what someone or someone's are willing to pay for that vehicle. So the book value and the actual market value can be a different figure, can be a different number. And in the environment that we're working in right now, where there is a used car shortage, you're finding that used cars are increasing in value in some markets. And so with that, the market value may be increasing because of the demand, but the book value may not have caught up yet. So there are so many different resources you can utilize to get the market value of your vehicle. Now, from a consumer standpoint, most of us don't have access to the auctions, and so we don't get to see that real-time value of used vehicles. And so that's available to dealers who buy vehicles via wholesale matters in the auction, but you may not have access to that. And so you may be able to go on some resource like eBay to get an idea of what people are bidding for specific vehicles. But what I would encourage you to do is just to get a range. And how I would go about that is to utilize some platform like autotrader.com, cars.com, autotempest.com, CarGurus, something like that, or a platform like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist to then be able to get an estimate of what your vehicle is worth from a marketplace standpoint. And so with that, we are comparing a vehicle that is a 2019 Ford F-150 Lariat. So that vehicle originally came out in 2015 as a new vehicle. It was the aluminum body type, so it was an entirely different body type than the steel, the steel framed version, the body type before that. And so therefore you want to compare like vehicles. And so this vehicle in particular is a 2019. The new front end and a few other components came into play in 2017 and ended in 2020. And so you'll want to compare that time frame of the F-150 so that you have a like vehicle to go off of. And so what we're going to look at today is actually looking at this 2019 vehicle from a CarGurus standpoint. So if you have access to an ability to jump online and to look at this for your own vehicle, what I would encourage you to do is to jump on CarGurus.com. So CarGurus will give you the ability of looking at the market rate of your vehicle. So here, what we have is we have a used vehicle. It's a Ford F-150. You put in your zip code specifically. You click search. From that point, you'll immediately have a search, almost like a list of vehicles that come up immediately. But from that point, you use the left side of the screen to basically further narrow down your search. So what we're looking at is we're looking at a 2017 to 2020. We're putting in our zip code. We're looking in a radius of your region, which may be 500 miles, maybe 300 miles accordingly, 200 miles, depending on the platform you look at. But today we're going to look at 500 miles. You're going to click search. From that point, you're going to scroll down and actually look at the specific options that are on this vehicle. So the first thing to look at is making sure it's a Lariat. So you want to have a like vehicle that's in the same range. Now, you may have a middle range vehicle that has, maybe it has an XLT package that has a bunch of upgrades. So you can utilize that, but it won't be as specific of a vehicle as comparable lariats. You also could use a King Ranch or a Limited, but like I said, you want to look at like vehicles as close as you possibly can and only expand that if you absolutely need to based on your region. So beyond that, you're going to want to look at crew cab only because that 4-door truck versus a extended cab truck has a lot greater value to it. Beyond that, you're going to look at the regular bed size. You're going to look at it being 4-wheel drive. And then also you may even want to put in the color. Typically with a lot of vehicles today, you don't have crazy colors unless you're going for some hip Nissan of some kind. But for the most part, they have pretty run-of-the-mill colors, and so you may not need to filter it by that. But beyond that, you'll want to look at any other options that apply. In this case, we were looking at an F-150 that had a V8 engine. So you'll also want to click that V8 option. And then beyond that, be able to see, okay, well, my vehicle doesn't have accidents. So I'm going to take out any comparables that have accidents. Mine is not a rental car. So therefore, we're going to take out anything that's fleet related. And so beyond that, you'll have a much smaller list of vehicles to go off of. In this case, it's 2 pages. So you'll be able to see, okay, well, there's some comparables here that I could utilize for for my comparison today. Now, of course, you're going to have intermixed vehicles that you want to keep in mind that you'll have to take out of the mix. So for example, this is an XLT that they appropriated as a lariat. But let's look at this example here that is a vehicle with 21,000 miles. So this is in Reno, Nevada. It is a 2018, so it's a year older, but it has lower mileage than mine. But from that point, you'll be able to see, okay, well, based on CarGurus, this vehicle is very comparable as a one owner. You can scroll down and look at, okay, there's no issues on the vehicle history. So there's no accidents, has a clean title, one owner. So this is a comparable truck, but it does have lower mileage. And so from that point, you'll be able to pull up versions of what your truck is to be able to compare and to be able to price the vehicle based on the market value that the vehicle has. So the last thing I would mention on this is the fact that most people believe that all modifications are good modifications. And so some of you are probably laughing at that statement because we all know that that's not true. So when you're looking at modifications specifically, you may be shocked by the fact that you put so much money into your vehicle with lowering springs, maybe you have done an engine swap or a wide body kit or something like that, that ends up actually reducing the value of your vehicle rather than increasing the value of your vehicle. So if you plan to cycle through vehicles over a period of time, you just want to be mindful of what options, what modifications you're putting into the vehicle that actually do make sense. So you may be able to get away with a slightly better sales price if the Ford F-150 Lariat is lifted and has, larger tires and wheels. You may be able to get away with something like that as long as it's nothing too extreme or too personal, too much of a personal preference. But being mindful of that, there are personal preferences that some people like and some people don't. One of which may be a wrap. Those are very popular right now. A lot of people are wrapping their vehicles, and although it's cool and it protects the paint of the vehicle, it may not be for everyone. And if you've done a suspension kit of some kind, lowering springs or something along those lines, that may be for some individual who wants that look, but it may not be able to be something for the masses, and therefore it could cause your vehicle to take a longer period of time to sell. And so with that, just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that there's certain modifications that don't actually return dollar for dollar what you put into it, much like a house. And so with that, my call to action today is to figure out what the market value or the estimated market value is for your vehicle. If this information is helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're reminded to come back on a daily basis and improve in managing your personal finances. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day. I'll see you back here tomorrow.